Very good morning students, myself Ashish sir. Today we will discuss your third chapter of your chemistry, that is water. Okay. So as a general instruction or introduction, almost 75% of earth is covered with water. Water in large amount is present in polar ice caps. This we already discussed in your previous years. Okay. And almost an equivalent amount of water falls from the sky as rain. Okay. Now we'll discuss water is a universal solvent. Why? Because it dissolves most of the substances because of its polar nature and its high dielectric constant. Why water is called as a universal solvent? Because it dissolves most of the substances. How? Because of its polar nature and high dielectric constant. So there may be a question, why water is a universal solvent. So you have to write this one. It dissolves most of the substances and because of its polar nature and its high dielectric constant. Now, as you know, natural water which is available also contains some dissolved gases like oxygen, nitrogen and carbon dioxide. On an average, 34% of oxygen, 65% of nitrogen and 1% of carbon dioxide is available in water in a dissolved condition. Now, why these gases which is dissolved has some importance. It has some biological importance. The air which is dissolved in water has immense biological importance because aquatic plants which are present in the water either in sea or in rivers also, the aquatic plants, rivers, ponds, whatever, in water, the plants which are present, they also perform the process called photosynthesis by using carbon dioxide. How they use? The dissolved carbon dioxide present in water, they use that carbon dioxide to conduct the process photosynthesis. Okay. Then marine life, not only marine life, even the life in water, that is the aquatic life, also use dissolved oxygen. In the same way for the process called respiration. For respiration they use the dissolved oxygen present in water. Okay. Now cells of mollusks and sea urchin, these are the marine animals or sea animals which are having a hard outer covering, that is called cells, composed of calcium carbonate in the form of calcite and aragonite. Okay, calcite and aragonite. So how this calcium carbonate is formed? This calcium carbonate is formed because of the dissolved carbon dioxide present in water or the carbon dioxide dissolved in water. Now we'll discuss another topic, that is called solution. What is a solution? Okay, solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. When two or more substances are mixed, the homogeneous mixture, if it is formed, it is called a solution. So solution is solute and solvent. Okay, solute plus solvent. Suppose we will take a sugar solution. How you are making a sugar solution? By dissolving sugar granules or the crystals in water. No? So solute is the sugar, solvent is the water. So ultimately we are getting a sugar solution. It's homogeneous in nature, which is called the sugar solution. So the component of the solution that dissolves the other component, that is called solvent. And the component of the solution that is dissolved in the solvent, is called solute. Understood now? So again I have taken the same example of sugar and water to get a sugar solution. Okay, then what is aqueous solution? A solution in which a substance is dissolved in water, that is called aqueous solution. Aqueous, the name itself indicates water. Understood? So a solution in which a substance is dissolved in water is called an aqueous solution. Clear? For example, common salt dissolved in water. Common salt, what we are consuming in our house day to day life, that if you are dissolving in water, we are getting a salt solution, that is called an aqueous solution. Then what is non-aqueous solution? A solution is obtained by dissolving the substance in a liquid other than water. If any other liquid the substance is dissolved, it is called non-aqueous solution. For an example, if you take bromine is dissolved in carbon tetrachloride. So carbon tetrachloride is the solvent, bromine is the solute to get a non-aqueous solution. Another example is sulfur is dissolved in carbon disulfide. Carbon disulfide is the solvent and the sulfur is the solute to get a non-aqueous solution. Okay, now we will discuss the characteristics of true solution. What is a true solution? What is that? A particle of solute doesn't separate under gravity. It doesn't separate under gravity. The solute particles cannot be removed. The solute particles cannot be removed by filtration. It is a homogeneous mixture, so you cannot remove. Okay. Then third point is the solute particles can be recovered. The solute particles, it is most important. The solute particles can be recovered from its solution in its original chemical form by changing the temperature or evaporation. So for an example, as we have taken salt solution, if you take salt solution is a true solution. How? Because it satisfies all the points, and when the salt solution is heated by changing the temperature or evaporation, salt is left back and the water is evaporated. So you are getting the solute particle, that is salt, which can be recovered in its original chemical form by heating or evaporation. Then the fourth point is the properties of the solution shows close resemblance. The properties of the solution, see, you have to understand this. The properties of the solution show close resemblance to those of the solute and solvent. What is that? Suppose you are taking an example of sugar solution. Okay, sugar solution, it gives the taste of sugar, the solute, and the water. Both the things you can taste, you can feel the taste of sugar, which is solute, as well as the taste of water, which is solvent, when you taste the sugar solution. So the properties of the solution shows a close resemblance to those of the solute and water. Clear? Now, what are the types of solution we will discuss now? Saturated solution, a solution which will dissolve no more solute at a given temperature, is called saturated solution. Clear? Then what is unsaturated solution? A solution that can dissolve more of the solute at a given temperature. Still we are adding and dissolving, the solute is dissolving in the water or the solvent, then it is unsaturated. Suppose at certain point the solvent will not dissolve any further solute, which no more solute can be dissolved at a given temperature, that is called saturated solution. So when the solute is going on dissolving, at that time it is called unsaturated. At certain point when the solute will not be dissolved further, that is called saturated solution. And then another point is supersaturated solution. What is this? A solution that contains more solute, further more solute can be contained than is present in the saturated solution for the same quantity of the solvent, is called supersaturated solution. Suppose if you take this saturated solution and if you warm it, again you add some solute to the same saturated solution, same quantity of solvent is there, but some more solute will be added, that contains more solute. So it is called supersaturated solution. Okay, so if I will explain, taking an example of sugar solution, suppose you are adding 1 spoon, 2 spoon of sugar in a glass of water. You are going on dissolving, stirring and going on dissolving continuously. At that time it is called an unsaturated solution. Unsaturated solution. When the solutes will not dissolve further, then it forms the saturated solution. If you take this saturated solution and warm, then some more sugar granules can be dissolved the same quantity of water or solvent. So at that time it is called super saturated solution. Okay, now we will discuss the concentration of solution. What is this? It is defined as the amount of solute present in a given amount or mass or volume of the solution, or the amount of solute dissolved in a given mass or volume of the solvent. It is called concentration of the solution. What is this? So the solution may be if the solid is dissolved in water or liquid, or if a liquid is dissolved in liquid. Two type of things are discussed. So first we will discuss the solid dissolved in liquid solution, the solid present in liquid solution. So when solid solutes is dissolved in liquid solvent, when the solid solute is dissolved, suppose sugar solution, sugar is dissolved in water, so solid solute is sugar and the liquid solvent is the water. The concentration can be expressed in mass percentage or mass by volume percentage. Understood? So what is mass percentage? It is the mass of solute. It is the mass of solute in grams dissolved in 100 grams of the solution. That is called mass percentage. So for a mathematical derivation, mass percentage of the solution is equal to mass of the solute by mass of the solution into 100. This is the formula. Mass of the solute by mass of the solution into 100, not solvent, solution. Okay, understood? This is solution. Now mass by volume percentage, what is this? It is defined as the mass of the solute in grams dissolved in 100 ml of the solution. So here it is 100 grams of the solution, it is 100 ml of the solution. So what is the mathematical derivation? Mass by volume percentage is equal to mass of the solute by volume of the solution into 100. Okay, these are the formulae. Now we'll discuss second point, what I have told you, solid in liquid solution. Now liquid in liquid solution. What is this? When a solution is prepared by dissolving liquid solutes in a liquid solvent, understood? Then the concentration of the solution is expressed as volume percentage. Then the concentration of the solution is expressed as volume percentage. So what is volume percentage? It is defined as the volume of the solute in ml, because the solute is liquid which is dissolved in 100 ml of solution. Okay, so the mathematical derivation is volume percentage is equal to volume of the solute in ml by volume of the solution in ml into 100. Okay, so there are certain questions given as you check your progress in your chemistry textbook. Go through that. I have given the solutions. The question I will tell you. Yes, I will show you this. The question is 20 gram of sodium chloride is dissolved in water to make up the volume of the solution to 250 ml. Calculate mass by volume percentage of the sodium chloride in the solution. See, there are two examples it is given at the top. You can go through that. I am not explaining these two examples, but I have given the check your progress some questions which is given in your textbook. So the first question I have read already. Now the solution is how you will write. The mass of the solute, that is sodium chloride, is 20 grams. Then volume of the solution is up to 250 ml. Then mass by volume percentage of sodium chloride in the solution is 20 by 250 into 100. So volume of the solution 250 ml, don't forget. Okay, now mass of the solute 20 and 250 into 100. So if you cancel this, you are getting the 8% as your answer. Now the second question is, a solution has been prepared by mixing 8.5 ml of ethanol with 80 ml of water. Calculate the volume percentage of the solution. The solution of this problem is, volume of the solute ethanol is 8.5 ml, volume of the solvent water is 80 ml. So ultimately what happens, the solvent is given, so volume of the solution you have to find out, that is 80 plus 8.5, which is 88.5 ml. Now the volume percentage of the solution is the volume of the solute in ml by volume of the solution in ml into 100. So if you solve this thing, you will get 9.6%. Okay, now we'll discuss the third question. A solution contains 20 gram of urea in 125 gram of solution. Calculate the mass percentage of the solution. Very easy. Again, see the calculation what I have done. Mass of the solute is 20 grams. Mass of the volume of the solution is 125 gram. So mass percentage of the solution is 20 by 125 into 100. It is coming 16%. Okay, very direct question it is given. No need to get confusion. The fourth one is, 4 gram of solid is dissolved in 36 gram of water. What is the mass percentage of the solution? So how to write? The mass of the solute is 4 grams. Then mass of the solvent is 36 gram. But we need the mass of the solution. So 36 plus 4, 40 grams you calculated. Mass percentage of the solution is 4 grams by 40 grams into 100. It is coming 10%. So children, go through the textbook along with the video, and again you calculate these numericals to get clarified. Okay, thank you.